others, but when he left school, I think someone came to pick you up. And you went to Tanahata and you got all these little tiny nuts engraved, you know, they were painted and they were engraved with little words. And I got this little nut that you could, and they had a hole through it so that you could hang them on a necklace. And I got one that said, "Forget me not." And I never forgot you.
Two of us, well, we were three of us, or four of us older ones. John Kenworth is into this, and we were going to make a fort up on the path there towards the waterfall. So we went to Brinchon to go and buy jungle knives. I don't know if anybody knew about this. So we bought the jungle knives, and within hours, David Duncan had cut his foot open, and I cut my finger open. The scar's still there to this day. And not surprisingly, the guns were put, I mean, not the guns, the knives were put under supervision after that. So who's next?
He said to me, you've been so naughty, you need to go along to the headmaster's office and make sure that you see him. So I went along to the headmaster's office and I stood behind the pillar, had a little look at him, waited there for about 5 minutes and then sauntered back to the classroom. And the teacher sort of said to me, "Did you see him?" So I said, "Yeah, I did, yeah." That was my usual way of avoiding seeing the headmaster.
Did you ever try to make one? You'd catch a butterfly and stick a pin in it and put it in a jar and it would never die. Did that happen to anybody else? And you just keep poking it and poking it So I want to provoke another story. Where's Jeremy Pennington? Because I want to know what he did in the jungle. Oh, darn. Okay, never mind.
I was 9 years old, going on 10, and they gave me, from the hospital stores, a bottle of body-preserving fluid called formaldehyde, lethal stuff, and an injection, formalin, and an injection, and a needle. And they said to me, the best way to preserve this butterfly is to hold the butterfly like this, get the needle, fill it with formaldehyde, and stick it in hard like that, and then inject, and this thing will it'll preserve it. So there I was, this little 10-year-old, 9 or 10-year-old, this formaldehyde right next to my fingers, and just going whoosh, repeatedly with these butterflies. I'm just amazed I'm still alive.
Let me tell you one or two things. I've got some letters here from my father to his father, where he talks about me. One of the things he says, I'll just read to you, because I've just read it to the person concerned. Bernard's school report comments on the fact that he seems to prefer the company of older boys to his own age group. He solemnly informs us that his best friend is Richard Yand, the oldest boy in the school. At the time, I was the youngest boy in the school. And I don't know what he was. Richard doesn't remember me at all now, because he was just but somehow we hit it off in that one term that we overlapped. The other thing I remember is that year was the year I got 3 birthday parties. Because for some reason, my birthday's in June, and for that particular year, my birthday was the last day of term. So Chifu gave me a birthday party the day before I left. We're going back to Indonesia. That was before we flew directly from KL to Jakarta. We went through Singapore. So Singapore gave me a birthday party in between flights, and of course my parents gave me one the next day when I got home. So I got 3 birthday parties. It's the only year it's ever happened until this year.
We're 50 this year, and we celebrated in June.
Yeah, this year I've had lots of celebrations, but until this year it's the only year it's ever happened.
But you know how it is when you have my dad's bigger than your dad, my dad's stronger than your dad, all this, that and the other. I discovered at Chifu that there is a different dimension that comes when your parents are all involved in mission work. And I actually remember 2 kids going, but my dad gets less than your dad. We're managing on less than you are, so we must be getting better. It's how you brag when you're in the missionary kid, so there you go. Who's next?
Everybody has their own tiger story. When my folks came to stay, to see us, they were at the bungalow there, and if you looked at the road, it's about a half an hour walk, but it's a much shorter walk if you go through the jungle path. The difficulty was there was that man-eating tiger around at the time. I think the one that took King. Yeah. So the balances of benefits were going by the road, safe but long and slow, going by the jungle path, short but interesting if the tiger appears. My mother resolved this by deciding to take her self-raising umbrella. Now, I'm not sure how many of you recall those tickling stories, but when the tiger springs, before they spring, they sway their tail 3 times. So when the tiger's there, you wait, count 1, 2, 3, leap, thrust the umbrella down the tiger's mouth, press the button.
It all started with my mother. We had a monkey. We had she had all these birds that were these special birds that talk and sing. They were really pretty. And so she was taking care of those. We had some cats. I can't remember. We had a lot of pets. And we had this civet cat. And she said, we were about ready to go back to school. And she said, how am I going to take care of this thing when I've got all this? And I said, well, why don't you just let us take it back to school with us? I said, you can put it in the bag, put some fruit in there, and they're nocturnal, so they sleep. And it curled up inside the bag, and I figured if somebody caught us with us, I'd say, hey, take it. Nobody knew. So it didn't wake up until we were in the taxi. And we were in the taxi. It's pitch black like it is now. And we're coming up and it got out of the bag. And then I don't know who it was that was with us, but the chaperone, she goes, what in the world is that crawling around, And it was ready to, play. And so it was too late then, and when we got up we were in the dorm over here, and they didn't know. So when we got it out of the car, we took it up there, and the only thing that we knew is just to let it cut loose in the dorm, and it was running all over but everybody was having a great time. We didn't have any food to feed it other than what we had brought for it, and but it was kind of fun. And and I told my mother, I said, well, if we could do that, we could do maybe some of the other pets that we had. Let's see, it was Janet Gray's brother had I forget what they call this animal, but it has long arms. It almost looks like a monkey, but it moves slow. No, it moves slow. No, it's not a sloth. It's like yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, we had one of those. And it was like light brown tan with big brown rings around its eyes. But that was fun. And what else did we have? We had turtles. We had tons of flying squirrels. Those were really fun. And we had mosquito nets and bunk beds. And we put the squirrels in there. And we had cats would jump up and grab them and kill them.
Tell us what the end of the civet cat story is.
Is that by the time Uncle Ned figured out that we had the civet cat, he had to figure out, where we would build a cage or put it somewhere. So he built a cage up there. Now I think it escaped and went into the jungle. But I think that's what happened to it.
I heard that it happened during the holidays, and you came back and found it had gone. Is that ring a bell?
That could have been what happened. But it was fun. And the idea of smuggling it in was more fun than anything. The fact that nobody else knew it.